You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
And as always, thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell, of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 409. We're talking about the Washington Commanders as they beat the New York G-Men. But before we get into that, the Maryland women's and men's basketball recaps will be recorded tomorrow. The WNBA mock draft 1.0, done by yours truly, is ready. If I don't have an opportunity to record it tomorrow, I record it Thursday evening. So it's definitely staying tuned for that. I'm also going to post that on TeamNBSMedia, NBS Media's website, some point before the week is over. So definitely check that out. Maryland Sports Blog. I'm just put a couple articles out on the Maryland women's basketball team and also the Washington Mystics. Again, so those links will be in the description below. But just appreciate the support you've given me on this channel. And let's get into it. The Washington Commanders defeated the New York G-Men 27-22. Daniel Jones always gives us problems, and I'm going to start with Washington. As far as negatives, our run defense was not the best. New York had a total of 164 yards on the ground with 31 carries. That's practically 5 yards per carry. You looked at halftime, New York was up 6 of those. And and again, Jonathan Allen's not there. I get it. But the other opponents we've held prior to us playing this game 5 yards. So Daniel Jones, for example, 54 yards on 7 carries and a touchdown. Tyrone Tracy and Devil Singletary both had 23 carries combined for 99 yards. Exactly. I think that has to get better. I get it. We're young. Definitely some depth there, but that wasn't the best. And I hate to be beating a dead horse, but our secondary it's just been something. And really, honestly, truthfully, too, New York's offense passing the ball is terrible. There was how many times you've seen blown coverages. Example, Theo Johnson, who had the late touchdown in the fourth quarter. And we'll talk about the trade that they made today, but their secondary has been something for sure. And Brian, that switches me to the offense. Brian Robinson was out. I think they, again, I mean, Austin Eckler was fine, but they really, really miss Brian Robinson out there. I think he is kind of the cog in the engine. And he was out due to a hamstring injury, so I mean, Chris Rodriguez was brought up on the roster. Had 11 carries in the game, 52 yards. I mean, I thought the running game could have been better. But I mean, overall, I felt like at times with Brian out there, we are dimensional. But again, in fairness, as a cohesive unit, 150 yards rushing the ball 38 times. You know, he had Austin Eckler. You know, he scored one of the team's first half touchdown in the first half. A touchdown in the first half. So I mean, I think without Brian Robinson, they've shown that they can hold the fort down without him. But I think it also depends on matchups. So, I mean, that was pretty much also everything else. Jaden Daniels, again, when I understand when the New York Giants are 2-7, they, regardless of record, that's still an opponent you respect. They're leading the league with 35 sacks, with Dexter Lawrence pretty much as the focal point. And they were kept in check that's the first time this season that they did not record a sack, and that gave Jaden all day, especially what he could do. He could have done his hair. He could have ate a snack because that pocket was clean. 15 of 22, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. He looked good. I think that's what we've been expecting. But I mean, that's a positive for as far as Jaden. I mean, but then also I'm gonna go back to the defense. There were some positives. In the first half, we were successful. Example, especially with the Daniel Jones when he fumbled the ball. They were 16 plays, 73 yards, if I remember correctly. And then if you paid attention since week 6, that's probably they allowed that many points in the first half. I thought especially, first quarter, I think that's where we really set the tone. So I was really proud of that. And then again, also too, like, give them credit with Dante Fowler. Daniel Jones got strip sacked. Bobby Wagner thought it was an incomplete pass, but I believe if I remember correctly, it was a fumble. So that gave Washington the ball back, especially in their territory. By the time halftime it was 21-7. So, I mean, it looked good for the most part. I just think there's some things got to clean up. I think, especially in the first half, I think trying to maintain a lead and not blow it in the second half. I mean, especially when they kept the Giants, especially in the opening drive, they did the same thing in the second quarter. They picked up 10 combined yards on those drives, if I remember correctly. So ring your head on that stat. I think, if I remember seeing the stat correctly, they're tied with the Green Bay Packers for allowing 1 point. It's a weird stat, but it's like they're like among the top 10 in first quarter points. So, and they're like 9th. It's a stat I saw on Twitter. I couldn't believe that stat. So ring your hat on that. But I mean, outside of that, we did okay. We did all the right things we need to do to win the game. So I'm proud of us. Again, Daniel Jones, every time we play him, I panic. But great win for the Washington Commanders. We're going to take a break because we also had some news that occurred today as well for the Washington Commanders. All right. Today, the Washington Commanders made a move. I thought it was a good move. I think it was much needed to improve the secondary. The Washington Commanders traded for Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
I like the trade. We gave up our 2025 third and fourth round picks, and also gave the Saints the sixth round pick that they got previously for John Ridgely III. So, and we got their fifth round pick. So, third round pick. Interesting. But no, in all seriousness, I still think that we didn't have the depth, and outside of St. Juice, it just not look good. I think the writing is officially on the wall for Emmanuel Forbes. I feel bad for him, but it's not his fault. I just think he was just. I just don't think he fit this system, and I'm disappointed. I thought I would have saw some improvement, but he's a backup. He's only played in 5 games, and in 2 of those games, he's had 6 or fewer snaps in those games. But Marshawn Lattimore, we're getting a proven player, Pro Bowler. I know he's been dealing with injuries, but also too, respectfully, when you look at his dead cap, because essentially, I think the Saints are rebuilding. I also want to take this opportunity to kill this myth that salary cap is a lie, and I'm going to prove that to you. I'm going to show you guys a website. It's called Spot Track, and this is a really good site that breaks down the salaries. So I'm going to share my screen so I can show you better than I can tell you. All right. So as you can see here, this is the New Orleans Saints. As of today, this is how much cap space they have. Okay. This is the total cap. This is how much dead money that they have. So when we scroll down here, I want you to look at the dead cap. $14 million that the New Orleans Saints had. That's a dead cap. They have to pay him $14 million. Andres Pete, $13.6 million. They still have to pay Michael Thomas. And they still pay Jameis Winston. See, the point I'm trying to make to you is that dead money hurts your salary cap. Okay? And on top of that, especially some of these contracts, like, let me give you an example. Derek Carr's dead cap is $60 million. You don't believe me? Filter, please. See that? $62.8 million. If they cut him tomorrow, they are responsible for paying him $62 million. Even with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, I can't remember his dead cap off the top of my head, but his dead cap, they are responsible for that. That hurts your salary cap because you can't make moves that you would like to. Restructuring contracts is fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, look at some of these contracts. Look at the dead cap. In the long run, that's going to hurt your team. Do you know, for example, the Baltimore Ravens? I think we still, at one point, as it was last year, the year before, we still had to pay Earl Thomas money, dead cap. Tyus Bowser, dead cap. So the point I'm trying to make to you is, even here, I'll even show you again with Washington. Let's go back. Okay, so let's go to the Washington Commanders. Okay. I apologize if this is loading slow, but I'm just trying to get you guys to understand how salary cap works and debunking this myth that it's a lie, because at some point your salary cap your cap space will get hit. So as you can see here, um, let's see what the most dead cap. Deron Payne has the most dead cap in $46 million. Let's see. Who actually has the biggest cap hit? Terry McLaurin with 24. Dead cap is wow, $34 million. So let's scroll down here to dead money. See this? $8 million. Charles Leno, Nick Gates, Curtis Samuel, Jamin Davis, Chase Rulier, Jahan Dotson. And some of these guys are not on the team. Like they still have to pay Sam Howell $180,000. I mean, that's nothing. But when you're seeing this hurts. This counts against your team's salary cap, which means that hurts you, especially come free agency and even signing draft picks. That hurts you from that. The wiggle room, the money, it gets tighter. The Baltimore Ravens have under $5 million in cap. Number one, because if you paid attention, giving Mark Andrews, Ronnie Stanley, Marlon Humphrey, Lamar Jackson's contract, and not an add-on to that when he signed the franchise tag. That goes against your cap. So I hope that makes sense. But this notion that it's a lie is totally ridiculous. But I like the trade for Marshawn Lattimore. I give it a B plus. Let's just see how it works out. And then also too, I was surprised. This was kind of under the radar. A couple weeks ago, we cut from a first round pick, Jamin Davis, 19th overall pick in 2021 draft. He just didn't really pan out. I mean, what was it? 282 tackles. I think it was solid stats. 57 sacks. Started the game 36 games. That pretty much leaves. That's the Ron Rivera era is officially over from 2019 to 2022 because they had 5 first round picks and none of them on the roster. Jahan Dotson, 16th overall pick, 2022, Philadelphia. Chase Young, 2nd overall pick, 2020. Traded to San Francisco, now with the Saints. Who am I missing? Dwayne Haskins. Obviously, he was cut during the season, 2020, and then tragically lost his life in 2022 after being hit by a vehicle. And then Montez Sweat, 26th overall pick, 2019, with the Bears. And you're looking at Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, he had an interception with the Panthers, but it was 2023. He was a 2023 first round pick. I still am holding out hope for Emmanuel. I mean, but if you think about it, there was out of 43 picks within that time frame from 19 to 23, just 12 are still on the roster. That's Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson, Sam Kasimi. That's just to name a few. So I mean, I wish Jamin all the best. Actually, let's look at his let's look at that draft class real quick. Because I feel like there were some other players that Washington could have drafted, and yeah. So would he pay Caleb Farley, Craig Newsome, Peyton Turner, Gregory Rousseau, Adafe Owe, Joe Tyron Sanyaka, Tyson Campbell, Christian Barmore, Levy Onwazurike, and I'm just naming a few players. If I'm being honest, I think they could have went after Adafe Owe or Gregory Rousseau. I don't know what they saw. They even could have drafted Craig Newsome II. So, yeah, that's I wish him all the best. He's with the Packers now. I wish him all the best. Again, it really wasn't his fault. He was just put in a bad situation. When you look at most of Ron's picks, They were a lot. They just Ron. Yeah, I'm glad that era is somewhat officially over. But much luck, best of luck to Jamin, and yeah, he's definitely an example of what could have been. So I don't have a final thought other than stay safe, enjoy the rest of the week, and take it one day at a time. Whatever the results of this election is, I may like it, I may not like it, but I know that who the next president of the United States, that's not important to me. What's more important is the next on the state and local levels, my next senator, representative, new mayor, chief of police, district attorney. Those individuals have more effect on my life than the next president of the United States. President's just a figurehead. So, yeah. So that's it. I mean, again, I said I didn't have one final thought, and that kind of was my one final thought. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evenings. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and we'll see you in next couple of days. So, all right, peace. Stay up.
It's Friday night and I hit up the crew. Grab the keys, jump in my ride, cruise the town and can find something new. Hit the club, the DJ's got the dance floor in a groove, and none of that compares to when I turn around and saw you. I can't understand it, girl. How you do the things I'm watching you do. While we're in this club, hey, all I wanna do is dance with you.
I wanna dance with you.
The moment that I saw your face, I knew I wasn't leaving till I got a chance to know you. But I'm still nervous, trying not to lose my cool. So I'm stuck sitting watching you. I don't know what to do. Can't understand. Oh, yeah. How you do the thing I'm watching you do. While we're in this club, all I wanna do is dance with you.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I wanna thank you. All I wanna do is say thank you for everything.